If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am The Wiz! And I'm here today with a review of the 1954 Christmas comedy musical classic, White Christmas, starring Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera-Ellen, directed by Michael Curtiz. One thing I should probably say again throughout all these reviews for Christmas movies is that for someone who really likes Christmas, I love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. I've never liked Christmas movies. Like, it's really hard for me to enjoy a Christmas movie. I guess it's just the way my brain is wired. I see the tropes, I see the common things that all the Christmas movies do, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting bored of this. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the best Christmas movie I have seen is likely to be It's a Wonderful Life. And I saw that last year. Like, just to show exactly how little I think about Christmas movies or how I enjoy them. Because honestly, a lot of them, again, are very tropey. They're not really that interesting to me. They're not really that effective either. It's strange because the Christmas movies, the way I am, because I like romance movies, I like dramas and stuff like that. Like, Christmas movies should be something right up my alley, but honestly, I've just never been a Christmas movie fan. So I guess this is going to go well for White Christmas, huh? Let's get into it. Let's get into the review of White Christmas, directed by Michael Curtiz. Now, before we get into the review, let's go into the plot. Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye play a song and dance team that become romantically involved with a sister act team, played by Rosemary Clooney and Vera-Ellen, and they just so happen to go to Vermont to be with the girls and to see how that goes, and they get tied up into a scheme to help their former commanding general revitalize his falling Vermont inn. Intermixed with the plot is a lot of song and dance numbers, a lot of music, some funny gags. It is very much an old school 30s and 40s musical song and dance movie. Alright, so let me get to my first point about White Christmas. My first point is, it's an incredibly charming cast. Like, all four of these actors are very good in this and very likable. And you want to watch them not only with their scenes of doing character work, when they're doing dialogue and plot and everything, they also are very good as song and dance people. All the songs are very good in this movie, but the dance numbers, holy shit, the dance numbers are good. Specifically Danny Kaye and especially Vera-Ellen. Oh my god. Like, I gotta say, I have a weakness for people who are really good at dance, because when it's, especially on screen, so when they do it, and you see the physical exertion they're going through and how effortless it is amazing to watch. And some of the dance numbers of this movie are fantastic. It's highly entertaining, and the music is really good too. I really like the music in this. I never really was a fan of Bing Crosby, but like, I do like him as Bob in this movie. And I definitely like Danny Kaye as well as Phil Davis. Like, very funny, very charming actors. And the females, Rosemary Clooney and Vera-Ellen, are really good too. There seems to be more of a focus on Rosemary Clooney's character, which, when the film goes along, you understand why. But I'll say this though. Well, my favorite performance actually is Dean Jagger, who plays the former commanding officer that the guy everybody is trying to help in this movie. It is real easy to see why all the men want to help him, and all the people want to help, because of how much of even though he's a very stoic, very to-the-point guy, he's also very charming. And then when the final scene happens with him, it is incredibly effective. It's more effective than the romance in this movie, which I thought the romance was pretty effective as well. Performances from the actors are really good in this movie. Very charming. My second point, which I've kind of already mentioned, is excellent dance numbers and sets. This movie has some very good dance numbers. I've already mentioned Vera-Ellen and how amazing her dancing is in this movie. And I think Danny Kaye is also very good in his dance numbers as well. The different types of sets and numbers that they have, not even just with dancing, but also singing, is really well done and shot incredibly well. The sets specifically are utterly gorgeous. Like, of course you have to stretch the fact that a lot of these sets seem to be a little too big for where it's being set, but you kind of buy into everything, and it works really well in that case. So I thought it was incredibly charming how the dance numbers and how the sets were in this movie. Very colorful, Very well done dance numbers. The music is great in this as well. I do have to point out, and I'm going to mention this on my Who Do I Not Recommend This For. There is one dance set. There's one dance number. The song basically talks about how they miss the old minstrel shows. None of the characters are in blackface. I can understand some might feel like, ugh, what the hell? I don't think it's that bad, except for the fact when they talk about how they miss the minstrel shows and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good dance number. You might be a little uncomfortable when they talk about that. Just fair warning on that. You may want to skip it. It's not really that important to the plot, so if you really want to skip it, knock yourself out. But I think it's a pretty good dance number, even though it's unfortunate, I guess. But that was the time, unfortunately. And the third point, it has an effective emotional ending. There's really about 3 plot lines going on. There is the romance between Kaye and Vera-Ellen's character. There's the romance between Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney's character. And everything that's going on with the former commanding general and his failing in. And the film does a really good job tying all of that really tightly and making all 3 of the plot lines work really well at the end of the movie. The ending especially is really good. And it's really good on numerous aspects. I'm going to spoil the ending of White Christmas, but I'll tell you what though, even if you know the ending, it's such a sweet movie. I would say still see it. So the ending basically happens on a number of things. Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney's character make up, and Vera Drake's and Kaye's character kind of had their thing. Doesn't matter. But the commanding officer, what happens is that Bing Crosby's character ends up trying to do something really nice for the commanding general to honor him in his 10th anniversary of the platoon after the war. On top of that, he's trying to help his get business. Commanding officer is surprised by all of his former officers or his former infantrymen honoring him in his own inn, and it's just a beautiful scene because you definitely feel the love that all of these men have for this guy, and then the reaction to the former commanding officer and how he takes it is also incredibly well done. Is it sappy? Sure, it's pretty sappy, but I'm kind of a sappy guy, so it kind of works out. It's an incredibly effective ending, and then when the snow drops, oh my god, oh man, so well done because I kind of bought into the entire thing about the movie. The movie is a beautiful looking movie, but it's got such a sweet and tender ending, and I melted after I watched it. It was like, oh my god. Oh my god, how sweet. Okay, so who do I recommend this for? I recommend this for people who want warm, cozy Christmas evenings. I'm actually kind of mad. I have never watched this before. This is such a great movie. There are these movies that a lot of people have where they watch every Christmas to get them into the spirit. Some have Home Alone. Some weirdos have Die Hard, even though it's not a Christmas movie. Go ahead and fight me. I don't care. Something tells me if I watched White Christmas back when I was a young kid, I would have loved this movie, and I would have really bought into it. Kim has said in the past, too, if you watched It's a Wonderful Life when you were a kid, that would have been your movie. I think this would have been it. I think this would have been the movie that I would have really enjoyed and really got me into the Christmas spirit. Also recommend this for people if you like musicals. This movie is a song and dance musical. It's half that and half the romance and the thing going on with the inn. So if you're into that, go for it as well. I think for a musical, the songs are really good in the movie as well. Who do I not recommend this for? I mentioned it during the second part. You have issues with cultural sensitivity. Would I say White Christmas is racist? No, I don't think it is. But the Mandy sequence is weird. Again, it's from '54. They were much more lax about that stuff, so I'm not saying, ooh, cancel it, and we got to take out this thing. No, I'm not saying. But what I will say is, it is kind of weird to watch a movie where they're saying how much they miss minstrel shows. If that's really going to bother you, then I'd say, I guess, skip it. Or honestly, what I would tell you is fast forward through it if it really, truly bothers you. But the song and dance number on that is actually pretty good in that sequence. Overall, I recommend this movie. I really enjoyed this movie a great deal. I thought it was funny, charming, great song and dance numbers, very sweet, romantic, and it's got a really effective ending that I really enjoyed. I just checked the Metacritic on this, and half the critics don't like this movie, and I'm like, why? This is such a good movie. Oh, I usually agree with the critics. This is one I'm not going to agree with on this. So, yeah, overall, I recommend this movie. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. Thank you for listening to this review. If you want to know what we're reviewing in the next couple of days, you can look on the screen right now to see what's coming up next. If you like what you heard, go ahead and leave a like on this video. If you want to discuss your opinion on the film or the review itself, please leave a comment. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for listening. I will talk to you next time.